Hey Nathan, welcome to another TFL live show, guys. And in this video, we're going to be doing a new segment we're calling This or That.
This or that. For you speed freaks out there, we're talking about a $45,000 or $46,000 question about which performance car you would rather have for an almost reasonable price, considering what they can do performance-wise.
Yeah, so they're cars that don't necessarily compete because there are a lot of big differences, but if you're a car guy or car gal, they are very lust-worthy, and like you said, Nathan, they both cost about $45,000 depending on how you configure them. Now, let's start by talking about the differences. So, what's different about them?
Okay, lots of differences. That's a V8. This is a four-cylinder turbo. That is rear-wheel drive. This is all-wheel drive. That has a 10-speed automatic transmission, although there is a 6-speed manual available. This has a 6-speed manual transmission, but there is a 7-speed DSG available.
So they're both 2024s. Did you know that next year they're losing the manual on the Golf R?
Yes.
This is your last year, so go get it.
Yes, I hate so many things going on right now with Volkswagen. So let's start on the Mustang, shall we?
Yeah, let's start on the Mustang. So obviously Mustang and the Golf R are iconic, right? This is the, Mark 8?
Something like that.
Eighth generation, basically, of the Golf, and this is the 7th generation of the Mustang.
Right.
And they've both been kind of revamped a little bit. Ford says that this latest generation of Mustang GT or Mustang is all new, but really it's not, is it?
No, there's a lot of components that are shared from the previous model, but they've massaged everything and they've improved everything. Now, I know that looks is subjective. Look has really grown on me, especially the rear quarter. I just think is absolutely outstanding. But the powertrain itself is very similar to the previous generation.
So the biggest news, of course, for 2024 on the Coyote 5-liter is right here. You've got dual air intakes and dual throttle bodies, basically one for each of the cylinder banks.
486 horsepower.
Given that we have the performance exhaust.
Ah, yeah, which sounds like Thor's hammer.
Oh my God.
It sounds amazing.
I would start it up right now, but our neighbors would come in here with
pitchforks and anger, and also it might actually rattle the walls.
Yeah, it just sounds amazing. So in this day of electrification, if you guys love the sound of a V8, this is as good as it gets. Really, because let's face it, the Camaro.
It's gone.
Yeah, the Charger, Challenger,
Gone.
well, at least in their internal combustion engine form. And so the last muscle car left standing is the Mustang, and it is a good one. Now, in terms of design, you said you like it? You like these kind of new, more narrow headlights?
It's grown on me. At first I didn't like the front end very much because I thought that it was a little too busy.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there's Mustang fans out there are like, oh, no, it's great. I preferred the previous model. I thought that was one of the more attractive ones, because it really did kind of share two sides. It was a little bit more retro and it still had futuristic looks. This is full-on futuristic Mustang. With that being said, it's really grown on me. But let me show you one thing before Roman gets started. This is, to me, kind of what, if you look at a Camaro, that was one of my favorite designs, was the way they had the haunch back here. And this is an even sexier tush. Oh my God. Look how this just folds out there. Love it.
Hey, we got to thank Brian M. He just donated $20. Super
Wow,
chat.
Brian, thank you so
Brian,
much.
Love you, dude. Thank you. It lets us do more of these videos.
Absolutely.
And actually, I've got the questions streaming right here. So we'll ask questions and answer questions as we go along. And
Sounds
basically,
good.
we're trying to figure out which of these would you buy. So before we get to that, let's talk about the engine over here.
Yes, now this is a whole different animal.
Yeah. So obviously, this has more power for 2024. I believe it's what,
315 and 295 pound-feet of torque, but this one actually has less torque because it's the manual transmission, so it's 280 foot-pounds of torque. And the reason why, well, frankly speaking, they just don't want to blow up the clutch, because it's a lot of torque for a little engine. It comes on really early, so you need to have, detune it just a hair, but it's still very quick. Actually, it's a funny thing. This has an all-wheel drive system, and the all-wheel drive system in this car, combined with that power and its weight, makes it very close to the Mustang in terms of 0 to 60 times at sea level.
Yeah, we're going to have to drag race them. So we've got the dragster reserved for next week. So we are going to put these two up against each other.
Yes.
So Luke O at 1234 says, I would rather pick the Nissan Frontier. Luke, that's not your choice. Sorry, dude.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, the price is about right, though. For $45, you can get a damn good Nissan Frontier.
Yeah, Trucker AK Man of War says Mustang all day. SRT 5150 V8 all day. Eddie Rich says much rather have the Mustang. So it seems to be like the Mustang is winning out.
Well, for now, it's the early risers, and we all know that Mustang fans are over-caffeinated.
But Travis 9935 says Golf R hands down. With just a tune, it'll run 11s. Not to mention, you won't be driving a rear-wheel drive car during the winter. That's a really good point.
So up here, that makes a really good point. But like in California or Florida or Texas, rear drive is a little bit better, I think. But all-wheel drive has, obviously, its positive points. And there's something interesting about both of these cars. They both have had a mild refresh. Or in this case, a kind of a major refresh. And I'm curious to what you guys think about the nose of this vehicle, because I've been a Golf lover most of my life. The Mark III was one of my favorites. I don't really like the new nose.
So they got rid of the honeycomb.
Yeah.
Right, which was a really big kind of design language.
They got rid of that, and they made droopy headlights.
Yeah.
They look sad. This looks like a sad car.
The crazy crazy guy says Golf R. So we've got some votes for Golf R.
Yeah.
Ichiban Noodles says I'll take the Golf R as well. So
I like Ichiban Noodles, by the way. Absolutely yummy.
I guess it depends on whether you like, the German muscle, sort of, kind of, I guess.
Well, this is German high-tech muscle for certain types of people. Obviously, there's German V8s and V10s out there. Big thing, though, is that if you have a family, you can actually get away with this. Not so much this.
Yeah, so would you try to convince your wife that this is a family car?
I've tried before.
Yeah?
Remember the 3 generations back, the VR6 GTI?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so when I was getting into this business, I tried to convince her that that would be the right car. Just the GTI. And she just
all right, well, let me help sway people. Let me show you guys something. Come on back here. Obviously, this is much more practical.
Way more practical.
Much more utilitarian. But look, they both have quad exhausts, which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and they both sound really good in their own, depending on, this really does show the division between the different types of muscle people out there who aren't into EVs.
But look at these. I mean, those bologna cut pipes are so much cooler, right? The Golf R is chrome. These are just raw.
You can't compare them. It's like people who like a Harley versus people who like, I don't know, a crotch rocket. You know what I mean? They're just completely different things, but they're both cool.
Saying Harley versus Ducati.
Harley versus Ducati.
Or maybe a better analogy.
BMW motorcycle.
Would be Harley versus.
Well, no, who owns Ducati now? Volkswagen.
Yeah.
No, you see, look at you smart you are.
Yeah. Let's.
Do you have some more questions?
No, I've got some more utility stuff I want to show them.
You don't know utility.
But which one do you want to go inside first?
Let's take care of the Mustang, get it out of the way.
All right, why don't you hop in? I'll turn on the light. And this is kind of where the Mustang lets people down because the interior is not. I'm going to turn the light on here so we have a little bit of light. There we go, Cole. So the interior is a little bit plain Jane. A lot of plastics, big screen.
Yeah.
But look, look at the PRND. It's just stenciled on there. It's not even lit up at night.
PRNDM.
Yeah, manual. But look how cheap that looks.
I got to tell you that the interior, when I saw this,
yeah,
I kept thinking that this was some sort of special edition, and then they would do something to wake it up. They haven't. The interior, the seats are comfortable though.
Seats are comfy.
Yeah.
Fake carbon fiber, not grand.
No, and it's just it feels like I'm inside of like an old Ford Escort or something like that. This whole component area is fine, I guess.
But look, like the places you touch, like where you put your elbow right here, soft touch, right?
Yeah.
Big fat steering wheel, nice and soft touch.
Yeah, but the door panel on the upper side,
yeah,
where I would lean I mean, this is a cruising car, then you turn it into an animal, right? So I want the window down and I want my elbow right there, and that is hard plastic.
But you do also, I'm going to stand up for the Mustang a little bit, you do get like leather inserts over here.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
So cloth with leather.
And bear in mind that this is, you can jazz up the interior if you go upper grades too. There are things that they'll give you.
Oh, you can get much more expensive than this. Where you put your elbow, that's also nice.
Not up there though. I don't like that.
You're
here,
right
yeah.
Well, French stitching.
But I can get this on a $22,000 car.
Yeah, true that.
It's a shame. I get it. They want to give you the performance for the least amount of money. And so the sacrifice is made in here. They put these screens up there so that way it's simplistic. Boom, everything's there. I think it has a new sync system in it. Great. But the sacrifice is cool dials and other things that kind of are part and parcel of the whole sports car feel are not here. And the overall fit and finish is not great.
But you do get we bought this one for long-term review.
Yeah.
And you do get that special button there that lets you change the exhaust from mild to wild. There's actually 4 different types of exhaust note. There's quiet, there's normal, there's loud, and then there's track. And every time one of the guys here at the office drives it, they put it in track and scare the hell out of like pedestrians and bicyclists.
Well, we're right next to a dog park, and so when you do that, you notice it's not so much the dogs that freak out; it's the owners.
Well, let's face it. In this car, you're paying for
the engine and transmission and the performance. Bottom line.
Yeah.
This is a performance car where there's not a whole lot of frills inside. I'm okay with that personally. However, as an old fat man, I just don't. I'm not as comfortable in these things as I used to be. So, for me at least, that's one minor demerit.
All right, well, let's jump in the Golf R before we answer some questions, and then we'll show people the difference in interiors. And what I can do for this one is I'll jump in the back seat behind you, Nathan, because I can actually get in the back seat behind you.
You should be able to.
Yeah.
I have shorter legs than you do.
Yeah, let me turn the light in here. There we go. Hop on in, and I'll get in over here behind you.
Welcome in, my friend.
Can you move your seat just a tad forward? Yeah, thank you, sir.
And I can actually go a little bit further forward too.
So look, this is nice. Look, you got colored leather. I like the lighting, right? It just
This is an unusual thing. It's not fake carbon fiber. It's some other sort of spotted leopard thing. I'm sure the Germans have some sort of weird word for it, called lieblich or something like that. But it's cool. It's different. The screens, just like the Mustang, 2 big screens, but very different in terms of how they work with you. Much more premium interior, I'm going to say.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, if you love manuals, we bought that because it's one of the last V8 muscle cars. This you would buy because if you want a manual and you want a really good manual, get this before they go away.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I would be on the fence whether I like the Honda one better than this one or a Mazda one better than this one, but the action is still pretty good. Throws are pretty short. Reverse, I like the fact that you actually have to struggle to get it into reverse so you don't accidentally throw it into reverse when you're trying to hit first.
But it's not all lollipops and unicorns, Nathan. Look at the temperature and volume controls. They're up below the screen.
No, they did the sliding haptic.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I thought they got, and also look, okay, relax, Nathan. So Volkswagen said they were going back to buttons on the steering wheel. Do you know why? One of the things is when you're doing high performance driving and you rub your hand or finger or anything in this area, you're changing volume control, you're making the car do things you don't want it to do. So they replaced these with buttons on many of their vehicles, and this is their newest offering, and they don't do it here. What the hell? Oh, I'm upset. Anyway, so they have haptic controls here. That's horrible.
At least you have 4 window switches, unlike the ID. Where they got rid of the rear window switches for some mysterious reason. I think Volkswagen ran out of them. Let's just be honest about this, right? This reinvention of the buttons and knobs and turning them into either sliders or haptic or screen-based is just horrible.
I agree.
How long?
It's even here.
When Honda got rid of their volume knob, everybody just screamed at them, knock it off, and yet every manufacturer then went and followed suit, like they didn't listen to what the customers were saying.
But then Honda went back to the volume control knob, and everybody was happy. Then the people rejoiced.
I talked to some designers, and I brought that up. I said, why did you guys do this? Why are you doing something that universally is so hated? And they said, well, because it makes for a clean design. That was their reason.
That's the reason, but there is another reason. I talked to a guy from Toyota, but still, I mean, it makes sense throughout the whole industry. See how just as an example, see, this is all one piece now, right? All of these little components here, all these slides and da 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 da, instead of them being individual buttons, it's just one little piece. This actually makes it easier and cheaper when you buy in bulk to put these into your cars, and that includes this right here. Look at this. This is another panel. Instead of it being 5 buttons, it is all one piece that just basically, you can even hear it clicking, and
It's
it's a
so,
screen.
It's so bad that for me it might be a deal killer.
There's
It'd
another
be close.
Yeah,
It'd be close.
this is a tough call. I know that the stereo system in this is superior because German, and the seating position was really good. So those are positive things. But I got to tell you, I can't understand why they still have this, because they got rid of this. Once again, okay, but I'm not. What do you guys think? Tell us what you think.
Yeah, let me read some comments, okay?
Yeah.
So somebody's saying about Mustangs.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know it was going to go back.
That's right. I'm so tired of the trash stains around my neighborhood. This is Nunya Bidness, right?
Yeah.
Around my neighborhood, making huge noise, completely out of tune, whether they actually are speeding or not. Come on, team, you can do better. Hey, I can't help that like 16-year-olds buy Mustang and put on some like crappy aftermarket exhaust just to make it sound loud. That is not. You can't blame Ford for that.
No, and FYI, dude, there are so many people out there who are buying like old Infinities and putting on horrible exhaust.
Yeah, same thing
Half
with
the sound.
Subarus. This is a problem with every car, not just Mustangs.
Yeah.
Used Mustangs, nothing against Golf, but it's so boring. It's a boring looking car. Let's go outside.
Yeah.
I think he's right about that.
I'm not a big fan of the exterior looks. I've seen better looking Golfs, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, the Golf R has always been kind of the non-kid racer hot hatch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't want to bump you there. Well, one of the things that I've noticed is that they were trying to lower the front end in terms of aerodynamics, right? So it's one of the reasons why they went for a lower headlight. I get that. But the overall look of it, if you look at this and the rest of the car, it just looks like it kind of dumped. You know what I mean? It's just done. The profile is very similar to what you would see with a regular Golf, but, and by the way, the brakes are massive. They're probably the same size as the ones on the Mustang.
Yeah, look at they're both actually the Mustangs are Brembos, but they're
but they're not drilled. These are drilled.
But yeah, let's show them the difference between the brakes and the. So I would say the problem with our Mustang is we didn't get the performance package, and so we didn't get the good tires, we didn't get the good brakes, we didn't get the good suspension. Right, we kind of cheaped out.
Yeah,
in
but
some
this
ways.
thing still handles and moves like a bandit.
Yeah, but on the track, I would think that the Golf R would.
The Golf R, well, it will.
Yeah.
And according to various magazines, the Golf R is faster with the DSG, with the dual clutch, but with the manual transmission, it's actually supposed to be slower than this. So they're close. This actually weighs a little bit less than this, which surprised me. I expected this to be heavier because it had the all-wheel drive system, but that big V8, it makes it a little bit heavier. Only by a couple 100 pounds, though. So it's interesting.
Here's a hot take. To me,
Yeah.
the Mustang is boring. This is a boring one. No wheel drive, no turbos, no sleeper hatchback appearance, no usable back seats. It's just loud. That's its only advantage. No, dude, that's not. It's not its only advantage.
And actually,
it's
could
much
get a
more than
turbo technically if you got the 4-cylinder.
You could get a turbo, yeah.
Oh, you didn't think about that.
No, but you're missing the point. Now you're just looking at the Mustang in terms of its technical specifications. You're forgetting the fact that the Mustang is kind of the all-American muscle car, and that when you drive this down the road, it has this kind of certain cachet, right? So you feel like, how would I put this? Like if you pull up to a gas station in that, right, people are going to be like, hell yeah, right? You're going to get thumbs up, you're going to get...
Or middle fingers sometimes.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously now every Cars and Coffee has these things flying.
Well, they can't because they keep crashing them.
But that's not the fault of the car, right? That's the
No,
fault
it's
of the people
not.
driving them.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people who are negative about a vehicle regardless. Now, I agree with Roman. This is a piece of Americana, and frankly, it's the last piece left. I mean, yes, okay, we know that eventually the Charger's coming back, and they will have a turbocharged 6 in it at some point in time. That's not the same thing. This sounds like Americana. This feels like Americana. And when you drive it, you do feel kind of special. And for the people who usually poo-poo these cars, they usually haven't driven them. Or even they'll say, oh yeah, I've driven many of them. Yeah, right, no. You know when you've driven one of these, proper V8, a lot of fun, squealing the rear end, that there's a certain amount of stupid fun that's just kind of attached to it. This is far more logical.
Yeah, and also, this sounds weird, but true. I've been using that to drive to the airport.
Yeah.
I've been averaging 25 mpg because at 80 miles an hour, that thing is barely turning over 2,000 RPM, right? It's just going. Boom, 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 boom,
You know why that
boom.
really ticks me off?
What?
Because I bought my little Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So it would get good mileage
And it
because I
doesn't.
use it to commute. I get 26.
Yeah, and that gets.
Yeah, 25 for freaking V8.
Yeah, I know.
It's really irritating. This is, I think, supposed to get better mileage, but not by a lot. I mean, bear in mind that we are talking about a vehicle that has all-wheel drive and it's turbocharged. And nowadays, having a manual is not the most efficient option. This is actually supposed to be a little bit more efficient with the dual clutch. Go figure.
So I think we'll wrap this up very soon, but let me just read a couple more comments that you guys are putting up right now. Let's see, John Mayer says the door size on the Mustang is huge. I'd go with the Mustang. So yeah, so if you're, if you're pulling out of a...
Good luck in a tight parking lot.
Yeah, you're going to be banging next to the, you're going to be banging the car. The Dark Horse is the only Mustang that's desirable. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
You know, that's a funny thing. You should watch. We have a video with Paul. Now, Paul is a former Stig. He is a proper race car driver. And he has some interesting things to say about the Dark Horse. And part of it was the steering. He wasn't very keen on the steering, the way they set it up.
Yeah, he didn't
He
love
didn't
it on
mind
the track.
these so much, though.
Yeah, he didn't love it on the track.
Yeah, so just FYI.
And in a way, this is the German Mustang, right? In some ways. I mean, AMGs.
In terms of familiarity, yes, and stuff like that.
What I mean by that is, obviously, Mercedes and BMW build quote-unquote muscle cars like the AMG versions, but they're so more expensive, so much more expensive, right? This is actually, given the price difference, which there is none, this is actually relatively affordable for what you get.
Yes, and yes, and yes. See, this is the thing. You guys have been talking about it for a while. Prices are going up. Yes, we know it, and it sucks that everything is just stupid expensive. But if you think about the performance you're getting for the buck, these two cars are very close, and in addition, they're a lot less expensive than almost anything else out there that does the same type of performance.
So I think we're going to have to leave this discussion to when we drag race them, Nathan.
Yeah.
And I know we would love to take them on the track. I think on the track, this one would
This would kill it because it has all-wheel drive, and it also has active suspension, or a form of active suspension. This didn't even have the performance package, so it wouldn't even be fair to really match them up. The performance package on this on a track would probably bring it closer to what the Volkswagen
But here at a
could
mile
do.
above sea level, this actually may have a good shot against that because, we're normally aspirated there and we're turbocharged here, and that's a big deal up here.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, this, I'm almost guaranteeing this should be quicker. At least off the line, this should be way quicker.
And I may sound a little bit negative about the Golf R, and I'm doing that not because I'm negative about this Mark 8, but we bought a Mark 6 Golf R because I kind of fell in love with it. I got to go to Germany and drive it. And there is also a difference as to where you drive these, right? The German roads, this is much more fun to drive on.
Mm-hmm.
Be it the Autobahn or be it the B roads, the small roads are much more twisty. In America, we've got dead straight interstates.
Big fat highways.
And the problem I had with the Mark 6 Golf R was that it was very high strung for the kind of driving we do in America.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that is just ultimate relax. It's like you said, like the difference between Harley and BMW motorcycles, right? That is just ultimately relaxed. You just sit back and you just kind of cruise.
You enjoy the ride.
Yeah, whereas this thing is like, it's like a little giddy
It's like a terrier.
Yeah,
It's like a terrier.
Let's go. And you can't do that on an American highway. I'm like, where am I going to go?
Now, the good news is we live in Colorado, so we have amazing mountain roads, and that's where both of these vehicles shine in different ways. This time of year, I'd much rather drive the Volkswagen because all-wheel drive, because there's still snow and ice up there. But as spring comes into summer, this I would probably prefer. The response you get from something like this, the sound mixed in with performance and everything else, really does make the Mustang so much damn fun.
I'm going to give Eric Peterson the last word.
Okay, Eric.
I think you're right about this, Eric. He says, as a primary car, I want the Golf R. As a weekend car, I want the Mustang.
Eric, you should work at TFL.
I'm working at TFL.
No, seriously, I mean, that is exactly the way you should put it. This would be the ultimate weekender, and this is a great commuter.
Yeah, in the winter, no problem.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for solving our problem.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining this live show. We're going to be doing much more of these, so we appreciate you guys tuning in. And as always, go to All TFL because we've got some fun stuff coming. As you know, we've had the 6 midsize trucks here at the office, and this weekend, get this, Nathan, Andre took him on an MPG loop, the Denver 100. So we're going to find out which of the 6 midsize trucks is the most fuel efficient. Any guesses? Because you were there too.
Yes, I was. I guarantee you it wasn't the Jeep.
All right, there's your spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.